Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it looks like we have some interesting news with Dave Chappelle and how the far left are reacting. Today, we'll obviously be going over exactly what Dave Chappelle said, how the fans are actively loving it, how the far left is losing, and on how exactly the media tried to cover it up. Because we all know the true reality of the media and the far left. Cancel somebody, be very evil as possible, and quite honestly, don't care about others. That's kind of what they do with the far left, and the media loves to cover up things because, a so-called black person can't be canceled. Of course, this so-called black person also has to be on their side, otherwise they're not black. They're just, what we call Uncle Toms or something, because that's what we're called apparently. Happened to Larry Elder, where he was called a white supremacist, even though he's black, because that makes sense to someone. It's like they keep stabbing themselves in the foot, and we point it out, and only the deranged mental lunatics actually believe in this. But let's get right into the article. I'd respect them more if there was at least one black person. Dave Chappelle mocks protesters who forced him to move Minneapolis show over his transphobia, and the fans love it. Of course they do. Here's the thing. The 125 people that didn't pay for the tickets and didn't do anything to go see his show whatsoever, yeah, how about that's a very, very, very small minority of people, by the way, that actually do it. So here's the thing. If you're going to crumble and bend the knee to these far left activists that are just very loud and obnoxious, you will lose money, you will not do well, and you will proceed to crumble. These people are just loud and annoying. They're a very low minority of people. Stop listening to them. Now, if we start looking at people maybe in the thousands, okay, maybe address it. But this is all numbers game, alright, people? Numbers game. So say, for instance, you have about 1 million people. And then there is about, I don't know, maybe 5,000, 10 people making a ruckus about it. Well, here's the thing. If only 1% to maybe 5% of the people are being loud about it, but the rest of the 90 to 95% of the people that are not being loud about it, maybe listen to the 90 to 95% people that are not being loud about it and are not complaining, rather than the 1 to 5% of people that are complaining about it. It's a numbers game, and you have to pay attention to that. This is what these companies don't seem to understand, and what a lot of the media wants to make you believe, and Hollywood as well, or anybody on the far left spectrum for that matter, because they'll cater to a very small group of people, which would also be the LGBTQ community, because let's be honest, the people that are LGBTQ or any trans or whatsoever is a very small minority of people out of the whole public. Even if we want to say the lesbians and gay people for that matter, or gay men for that matter, they're also a very small part of a minority of people, because the majority of people are usually straight. So, therefore, they're a very small minority of people. I'm not saying ignore to some of their pleas and they should not have rights. However, they are a small minority of people, and we have to take the numbers game and see what it does. Now, that doesn't mean, as I said, ignore them. They should not have less rights than other people, because that's just ludicrous. However, when we have a small sample of people, and they're trying to push for things that are either unethical, evil in my opinion, then we can't really listen to them. This is what is the problem with the gaming companies as well, when they try to cater to this stuff. Or when women start doing sexual, random, false allegations to men specifically, and then they remove this guy off of like 2 women that are making these allegations, and you don't know it's true or not, and you remove this guy, his finances, everything, and he gets ruined, well, guess what? You just ruined that person's life, even though it's been proven wrong, but in court, which takes a little while, by the way, then you have a huge problem. Because that person was just removed his job from something that was actively false. And here's the thing. A lot of the Democratic women that actually want to ruin somebody that doesn't believe with their political views or know that they have the power to do so will do this. Remember, let's go back to Elon Musk in this example. Very small minority of people started claiming about what he was doing, and what this happens was, as soon as he started addressing he's going to be voting for the Republican Party, a whole bunch of women out of the woodwork, for no apparent reason, started doing sexual allegations against him. Small minority of people, right? Like 9. But all the other women that he's been with has now complained about this issue. This is what I'm talking about. They try to ruin people by doing these sexual allegations, and they end up being wrong. This is the whole problem. And this is the same thing here with Dave Chappelle. Now, give it time, and we're going to actively see where this pertains for Dave Chappelle. Because there will be, most likely, some type of sexual allegations being levied against him, and there will most likely be Democratic side. Not saying that Republican women don't do it too, because they do. It's just been seeing more from the Democratic side. So, let's get right into the article. Dave Chappelle returned jubilantly to the stage in Minneapolis on Thursday night to blast the woke protesters, trying to cancel him, joking to the crowd of fans. "I respect them more if there were at least one black person." DailyMail.com was at the sold-out show at the Varsity Theater to hear Chappelle rattle off things about cancel culture and his ongoing difficulty using pronouns. Kind of hilarious how it actually how his show sold out immediately after he moved. Kind of hilarious, honestly. It's almost like the far left didn't win and they lost. Wow, you did a real good job canceling. Didn't do a good job, did you? Because 125 people is nothing to his fan base. Said he found it confusing when the productive system is made out of words and semantics. "Comedy is just comedy," Chappelle said when he took the stage to cheers. Also noting that 50 years ago, George Carlin was arrested for performing his 7 words you can't say on television routine. Other targets of Chappelle's jokes included celebrities including Chris Rock, Will Smith, and Louis C.K. Meanwhile, he interacted with the audience. In particular, he kept coming back to a teen boy in the audience who said he wanted to become a comedian. Chappelle advised him to stay away from trans jokes. Concluding his routine, Chappelle urged his fans to great intimacy with love, and despite a small number of protesters who petitioned the show, the fans walked away smiling. Exactly, because these companies want to cater to a very small minority of people. The protesters didn't stop fans from coming to the show. Some coming in costumes, including at least one dressed as Prince, a nod to one of Chappelle's most famous sketches. Oh, wow. And then we have these people here. The fans far outnumbered the protesters at last night's show. Derek Charleston carried a pride flag and told people to go home. "I'm the new cop in town." "Bitch," he screamed, but the crowd took little notice. Yeah, because you people are lunatics! Again, most people that are on the far left actually have mental issues. That's been shown as an actual statistic here, where they have actual legitimate mental issues. Should probably check on them. Chris Ryan said he felt Dave Chappelle offers a unique perspective. "I think he's thoughtful and intelligent person," Ryan said, "and I think he speaks without fear. Cancel culture has taken too big a position in our society," Ryan said. "I agree. I think that if we're not going to be divided, we're going to have to be unified. We should be able to say what we want when we want, especially if it's not mean-spirited. I don't believe this work is mean-spirited. It's definitely not." Like I said, the only reason why they're angry at Dave Chappelle is because Dave Chappelle pointed out very exact things that the LGBTQ community did to his friend. That's what he pointed out, and they don't like it. They hate that their actual evil tree is being pointed out, and that's why they hate it. Maddie was too little to watch Chappelle's sketch comedy show on Comedy Central, but was watch all the stand-up comedy specials. Her mother, meanwhile, wrote a paper on Chappelle's sketch about being a blind racist who is black. His jokes really seemed intelligent and provoking, Russell said. Russell doesn't feel offended by Chappelle's jokes. I took it more of a stab against white people, she said. One particular recent joke that he has caused controversy that refers to transness didn't bother Russell. I thought it was super funny, she said. Her friend who is LGBTQ, who thought it was offensive and asked Russell to watch it again, which only confirmed her original reaction. As for Townsend, she thinks differing opinions are healthy. I'm glad they are processing, she said. Another fan, Eric Simmons, is in Minneapolis for a business trip and heard about the show from a buddy at work. He's been a Chappelle fan for 12 years. He doesn't think much of the protesters. People are taking things out of context, he said. Still, he doesn't have feelings in one way or the other about them. I'm glad I'm in America. You're able to protest, but I'm also able to choose to go see it. Cynthia Valencia is 32. She's been a fan since she was 13. She doesn't think Chappelle hates trans people, nor does she. I don't mind them at all, she said before the show. Which most people don't mind them at all. She wishes the protesters would have a sense of humor. Low-key, I want to taunt them, but I know I should not, she said. Logan, 24, thought the show was electric and it didn't seem offensive. It's just comedy, Kramer said. I see a sign back here. It says, fuck these Nazis. I mean, I don't really remember reading the history books or seeing videos of Hitler telling jokes. I don't think that's very transferable. There's or they see parallels there. They are there as comedians. They are making jokes, said Michaela Kramer, 23, who came to the show with Kramer. It's not personal jabs at anybody. At the same time, Kramer said she understood the protesters need to protest, but it's weird coming out of a show where you just had a lot of fun laughing and having people scream at you. Chappelle even went to speak to the protesters after the show. Some of them shouted transphobes to the audience members assisting to the theater. Of course they do, because they have no other way but to say that. So, it goes on to say, Kenya Brooks, one of the protesters, went to an alley on the side of the theater in hopes of getting a picture with Chappelle. She said Chappelle had come out to talk with the protesters. One person she recalled told Chappelle his jokes were killing trans people and were the reason for trans people getting shot. No, it's not. Chappelle's response, Brooks said, was a question whether jokes were really cause of murder. Do you think my jokes caused the Buffalo shooter in New York and do those things, Brooks recalled Chappelle saying. The superstar comedian's performance at the venue, First Avenue, was called off due to a number of social media protests from the staff and regular patrons. They were infuriated by the smash hit Netflix comedy special The Closer, which some critics slammed as transphobic, although others hailed it as its bravery and wit. First Avenue subsequently published a groveling apology and it was sorry for causing harm to anyone offended. Despite the new venue at the Varsity Theater, a small protest followed Chappelle. Among them was Derek Tetron, who carried the fan and told them to go home. I'm the new Coppertown bitch, he screamed. He told Daily Mail that he heard about the performance cancellation on Wednesday night and then came to the new venue on Thursday to voice his dissent. I don't tolerate transphobic anything, Torgerson said. If I worked here, I would quit my job on the spot. Torgerson had never heard of Dave Chappelle before of the controversy, but believes it's his right to protest First Amendment rights. I'm not doing anything dangerous, he said. On his Facebook page, Torgerson lists his employer as moms demand action for gun sense in America. His page is littered with photos of him protesting at various rallies such as abortion rights and guns reform. It is unclear if he is a trans man. The former star of Chappelle's show has been the target of trans rights protests since the airing of his 21 Netflix special, The Closer. The Netflix special shows that gender is a fact. Every human being in this room, every human being on Earth had to pass through the legs of a woman to be on Earth. That is a fact. Those comments, among the other remarks that comedian had made since then, had deemed me as transphobic by activists. Yes, because they're lunatics. And if we go here, there's more stuff to talk about. Here's stuff from the council they show the media will ignore. Tries harassed the venues, dogs employees, and intimidated ticket holders waiting outside. Activists are crying that Dave Chappelle makes them unsafe are the people actually threatening violence. And here we go. Fuck around and find out flag outside Transformer Comedy Night. If you're curious how seriously First Avenue takes this, here's Sonia walking into the see the Chappelle Comedy Show tonight. If anyone is wondering, the person who brought Chappelle to town is named Zach, and he really disliked the woke mob for making Chappelle move to Varsity. He is an ex-Minnesota resident which ties to the electronic music scene before working with the Lift Flag Nation. Getting a bit of testy, minor scuffle between anti-transphobic protesters and people line arguments continue. Look at this. Look at all this stuff. Harmar drove by all slow. No one saw him go in, but I wouldn't be surprised. Look, all this stuff. Trans folks are in danger, and you book someone who puts a target on their backs. You put trans residents' appeals more at risk. Transphobia is in comedy, is violence. You realize the message you are sending to trans folks with this, either first evidence safe place or trans people are not. You can't have it both ways. And they're going off with this. And then we continue with more stuff, which Data Racer says the media always praise this stuff as harmless online backlash. That was deserved by the victims. It's not. It's always vindictive, deranged, and abusive. Look at this. Dave Chappelle canceled by Minneapolis venue after social media backlash. Dave Chappelle comedy show dropped by Minneapolis venue after criticism. Minneapolis. I hope it made his day bad. Very bad. I hope he lost money. A lot of money. I hope he was yelled at by managers and handlers and perhaps the artists as well. He wasn't, because he sold out in another show. Look at these people. Look at these people. Just great looking people, isn't it? Look at this. See, guys? This is what I'm talking about. All these people. All these people. So, there you have it. All the information that you need. And also, Dave Chappelle, comedians defend him. The comedy's world stood up in defense of comedian Dave Chappelle after his show in Minneapolis was canceled at the last minute due to backlash for past anti-trans remarks. Chappelle was originally scheduled to perform on Wednesday at the First Venue concert, but the show was moved to a similar stage 3 miles at the Varsity Theater, following heated protests. And then Morrow insisted that venue had their priorities mixed up when they bowed to pressures to cancel the show. It's not about race or color or size or gender, it's about money. You don't want to make money, Morrow said, adding that comedians don't want to spew anger and hate and bitterness. You want people to laugh. And all these other great stuff. So, yeah. So, these people are literally insane. They're lunatics, and they don't care about your life, and they'll call you transphobes, etc. when you're not a transphobe. So, there you have it. Well, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and take care.